We're going to be looking at some of her writings and musings, and I've got some questions for you. Your latest book, Will Write for Compliments.
Yes.
And you are also the author of Do These Gloves Make My Ass Look Fat? See, that's a trap of a question. You know that. Women will do that to men.
Got it.
And there's no right way to answer that.
Correct.
You cannot answer that. It's like, uh-oh, trap. How do I reverse and get out of the room so I don't even have to be asked the question? But Will Write for Compliments. Of course, this is a wonderful play on words and on compliments, seeking and beseeching. And so we're going to get to know you a little bit better here in the program today. And when people, ask you, what do you do? What do you tell them?
Well, I tend to be glib and say things like I do nothing, or I do everyone, or saying that I'm a writer seems kind of pretentious, even when I am writing. It just seems like a big title to assume.
Capital W, you mean?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, everyone's got a story. Everyone's got stories, but
precisely. That's exactly why it feels a little bit big-headed to assume that I'm a writer, when in fact everybody is a writer. Some people don't put the pen to paper. Some people just orate in the bar. But we're all writers at heart. We're all storytellers.
Storytelling. That's the key. In fact, the birth of language was to share those stories and to continue them on.
Exactly.
So the story of Key West. We're going to be talking a lot about your life as you've created it here in Key West. And of course, but you have a remarkable background. You grew up in this country as well as in Europe, but you've traveled around quite a bit.
I was born in New York City, American father, Serbian mother, and then quit America when I was about 2 years old. Obviously,
so I'm out of here.
I was sick and tired of the stupid accent. I was like, I want an English accent. So off to England we went. The family listened to me. No, my parents divorced, and my mother moved my sister and I to England when we were little. And I went to 14 schools over there. My mother continued to marry obsessively, and my father was marrying obsessively over here in America. I think they were competing. My father won.
So you have a big brood then.
Huge brood. Not all of us have met. Those of us who have met don't like each other a lot. But anyway, precedent for moving around was set. And so after I left England when I was about 16, I was the last to leave. Everybody else had moved on, and but I didn't go to college. I was a bad student, and
bad student.
Teachers,
Did they make you sit in the back of the room?
They threw me out of the class.
Just get out of the class.
Oh my God, I was locked up with the rabbits. Anything to keep me far away. Teachers would sigh with relief and thank my mother when she would take me away from a school and put me into another one.
Well, now, were you the mischievous sort or just a smart ass? I mean,
I suppose a good combination of the and also I am in fact half American, whatever that is, and half Serbian. So I was brought up in England, but I'm not a Brit, despite this messy accent of mine. I was a foreigner over there, and as you may know, the Brits are kind of xenophobic. Not too friendly to foreigners. So I was militantly.
You know your place, right?
I was the noisy American over there, and proud to be so. But now I come here and I sound like a Brit. You're a Brit, right?
Some part of me. No, I'm more Irish.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yeah.
I like the Irish.
Yeah, I like the fact that they always fight the Brits.
Exactly.
Of course, they always lose.
They do always lose.
But they have much better whiskey.
And much better writers.
And much better shamrocks.
Much better food.
Much better. Oh, God, yes.
Much worse weather, though.
Only certain times of the year.
Oh, you're patriotic.
So, Will Write for Compliments. This emerged over what period of time?
That is since I've been here in Key West over the last year. I got here last January, and
good time of the year to arrive.
Well, I got here exactly. I was swept down here by the blizzards of the north.
And we had a cold January last year. This January has been as tropical as they come. in the high 70s, low 80s. In fact, this rain we're having is it's measuring up as the wettest winter we've had too. I measured about 8 inches, and then in the bucket of water there was about 8 inches.
Amazing.
Yeah,
in one 24-hour period.
A lot of rain, but we need that. We need that. It truly nourishes us. And when we were off the air, before we came on the air, I should say, discussing that people of a century ago, how they were clothed, it was remarkable. I think they didn't have sweat glands then. They didn't possess them. I think they were installed as a means to give us a reason to change clothes. Or else the heavy clothes just absorbed everything.
Maybe that's what it was.
Maybe that's what it was.
They were sponging up all that filthy
Because you
sweat.
see these pictures, like 100 years ago, this Flagler train came down 100 years ago with great celebration and a gazillion dollars. Loss of life. It was an eighth wonder of the world. And everyone is clothed to the gills. They've got multiple, and this is all over the world, but here in the tropics, what the heck? Why couldn't they just lighten up then?
I think the trick was they weren't wearing bloomers. I think underneath all those petticoats.
I don't think we want to look underneath.
They were free-balling it.
Swinging it. So the traffic that brought everyone here, whether it was rail or ship or by now air or by cruise ship, a couple million people a year came down. But what drew you? What was the impulse that said, let's get down to Key West?
Well, I'm sorry to say, but I'm just like everybody else, and I came here because of the weather. However, I did not stay or move here on account of the weather. I moved here because the local bookstore, the Key West Island bookstore on Fleming, they have a cruel and evil policy that they will not stock books unless you were born here, live about here, write about here, or anyway, all sorts of qualifications that I couldn't fit. So I said, fine, I'm moving here now. Put my books on your shelf. And they did.
So you got your driver's license and you're a Florida resident.
Yeah.
Well, it saves on state income tax, too.
Yeah, that'll be a huge help because my income is so enormous.
See, first you have to have income, then we'll get the taxes, so that's not a reason to move here. But was it, okay, the weather obviously is the first inducement. It's sort of like the scent of a flower. And then you see the flower and you, oh my God, look at this beautiful environment for which when we come back we're going to be taking a measure of that flower. De flores de Christina. When we come back here on Art Waves. Again, I'm your host, Michael Shields. After these words for the Konk Broadcasting Network.
Are you ready for a change? I'm Adair Fritz. As a certified personal trainer, I assist individuals in creating a new vision of their lives. I use a gentle and kind approach towards an improved new outlook of life and living. Whether you want to be toned and trim or fit and agile, I can show you the way. I also specialize in restoring balance and mobility to victims of Parkinson's and accidents. Call me, Adair Fritz, at 305-394-4895.
And we're back with Art Waves. I'm your host, Michael Shields, here each weekday, 11 to noon, on the Konk Broadcasting Network. Thank you for tuning in. My guest this morning is Christina Oxenberg. You have a new book. Again, welcome.
Thank you.
And for those just tuning in, Christina is an author of Will Write for Compliments. Of course, this harkens up the old New Yorker type cartoons with the person at the corner. Usually it's down on Wall Street. And someone has a sign, we'll eat, we'll work for food and so forth, but we'll write for compliments.
I know, it's really just an example of how tragic the life of a writer is. We're so insecure and we're so easily intimidated that we will write for compliments just as well as we will stop writing forever if they're negative feedback.
So does the blank page strike terror in you?
Not at all, no, because it works so well for so many things. I can put my coffee cup on it, and create cute rings,
and watch the ants crawl across it. The critters, life in the Keys. You have lots of critters.
No kidding, amazing things with like squishy paws.
Are you the type that if you see what happens when you see a palmetto bug crawling across or on the floor? What do you do?
I'm particularly good with bugs.
What do you do?
I'm really good with bugs. I tend to speak politely to them and walk.
Oh, you have an arrangement.
Yep, absolutely. Spiders I like. Oh, everything else is worked outside by the hand. But I don't crush or kill things. I think because when I was a small child, my sister Catherine, who's the prissy one of the family, she did window cracking eeks, right? So it was my job to to go in and retrieve the offending bug. And so I became friends with these bugs. I was like, I feel sorry for you. You and I both hate the screaming. Well, I'll take you out. At least you can stay out. I got to go back in and listen to this freak breaks the windows.
So you're in tune with the secret life of plants and animals, I think.
I wouldn't go quite that far.
Or maybe
I'm more in tune with my own secret life.
You make up your own stories of the life of...
There we go. Exactly. Well, in New York City, they say if you have a rat problem, you should just give the rats names.
Yes.
Just name them and make friends, because they're not going away.
Well, I'm a former New Yorker. Actually, once a New Yorker, always a New Yorker. I did a little research on you.
Only a little.
Just a little, because there's so much to know. We only have an hour here.
What?
But you lived on the Upper West Side, yes?
Oh, I've lived every street in New York City. I've rented and